So start by getting yourself a plain men's black dress coat. You want it to be long enough to go just below your knees. And so the first thing you want to do is turn the collar up. You're going to wear that open to give it that vampire look. And then cut yourself a black rectangle. You want it to be wide enough to go from your shoulders down to just below your elbow. Mine I actually cut from an old coat, so it's got a liner on the inside, so you want to lay your material wrong side up, and then lay your coat on top of that. And then just wrap the material around it and measure it to make sure it's long enough to go around the coat. You want it to be able to go all the way around the coat and then half again as much. Mine was a little short on the material, which you'll see at the end it doesn't quite close in the middle, but you want to make sure that it goes all the way around and half again as much. Then you're going to take a piece of black thread and run it along the top to scrunch it up, and the bottom you're going to leave open, so you'll just have ruffles along the top when you scrunch it up. So thread a needle and you'll sew it about 1 inch from the edge, and you just want to make wide stitches, about 1/2 inch wide. Just run the needle through and then pull up the thread, pull it up tight enough to give it a few little wrenches, and then you'll just keep going all the way across, making large stitches 1 inch from the edge, and then just pulling them up tight. Not too tight, but tight enough to make ruffles. You go all the way across the top. So then lay out your black piece of material with the runched side facing you, and then lay the collar of the coat right along the runching, and then fold the material around the collar of the coat, pin that in place, making sure that you leave the opening open, and then you're just going to sew all the way around that. When you're sewing, you want to sew above the seam line that you made the runching with. You want to sew a little bit above that, so when you flip the material back down you won't be able to see your seam line. So just sew along that, and then fold the material back down. And as you can see, you can't see the seam line from the runching because it's been covered up by the other seam line. This is what you should have so far. And then you just want to, on the bottom part of the cape, you just want to fold that under about 1 inch, and then just sew all the way along it, including the sides right up to the collar, to give it a nice smooth edge. And then here is the finished coat, and as you can see, my cape material was a little bit short because it doesn't quite touch the sides and the front. And here it is in color. It's also a bit long for me because I actually made it for my brother, but it's the basic idea.